guys, welcome to Generation of Hope, and today I've got Reuben with me.
Hello there.
And we're going to be hearing a little bit about Reuben's story. So Reuben, how long have you been a Christian?
I've been a Christian for about 8 months.
Yeah. So how old are you now?
I'm 23 years old.
Yeah, nice. And so what happened? So when you were a child, were you a Christian? Were you brought up a Christian or?
So I was brought up in a Christian household.
Yeah.
But I wasn't something I took very seriously.
Yeah.
It was it's kind of something I was made to go to as a child. Just it was out of love, but
Yeah.
I didn't take it seriously at all. And then I left the church when I was 16 years old.
Yeah. Okay. And why did you leave?
I was more interested in other things, what the world had to offer.
Sure.
Girls and video games and alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. And I just kind of was more interested in that than going to church, which I thought was really boring and something I didn't pay much interest in. Yeah. So I just didn't bother anymore.
Sure. And so, how long did that period in your life go on for? So when you kind of left?
I left when I was 16, and I came back to the church when I was 22 years old.
So in that period of time, what was there anything that happened that anything significant happened in that time, or?
Yeah, so I was when I was 19, I was in a relationship, and I basically for 4 years I was in that relationship, and I didn't really feel like I needed God or anything like that. And although I was very content with my life, at the same time I felt quite empty, and I didn't really know why. And I kept trying to find it in other things like money, or like alcohol or like drugs and stuff like that. And it just never fulfilled me. And I couldn't quite answer why. Eventually I ended up using my career as the funnel in which I tried to fill my life. And it was just never ever satisfactory. It was never enough. And then when I was 22, I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and basically we shared everything together, and so it was a really big part of my life, and it had a huge impact on me. Yeah. And I found it really difficult because it was everything. That was my God in a way. Everything I did revolved around that. Sure. And so for me it was really difficult because I then had no purpose, and that's what I honestly believed. I've got no reason to even be here.
At the same time, did you have a successful business still?
I mean, it was funny because when I was going through that, the business was expanding quite drastically.
Can you tell a bit about your business?
Yeah, sure. So I run a production company called Glasshouse Productions, and we do cinematography for events, weddings, and music-related stuff, corporate-related stuff. We cover a huge range of different stuff, but it's all cinema kind of based work. That's what we do. So at the time the business was growing really rapidly, but ironically I didn't care. It was doing better than ever, but I just didn't care at all. I was in too much pain to care. And it was I felt I had no reason, no purpose. But prior to that, I'd witnessed my brother's baptism, and I didn't know why he was doing it. I didn't really understand why he was doing it. But when I watched it, I saw him, and because I know my brother very well, but he was such a changed man, and it was really quite bizarre to see how different he was. And he didn't care about things that I really cared about. And then after that, I decided to go back to church because I felt almost guilty in a way.
And and that inspired you?
It did. It really inspired me, and what he said changed me. And that was the start of my new adventure with Christ. And I explored different things and stuff like that, and ended up back at church, because that's where he kind of pushed me to go in a way with what he said. But whilst I was going through that at the same time, when I was really depressed, I kept going back to church, but I don't know why, but for some reason I just kept going, because it doesn't make any sense for me to keep going, because at the time I wasn't even sure that there was a God. I was kind of like, how could there be a God that loves me so much when I literally want to kill myself? Like, that's me being really, really real with you. I didn't even want to be like alive anymore. I just wanted to die, because I didn't ever see myself getting happy again. And like and you get into that cycle, and it's really dangerous, because you just wake up thinking, is it today? You don't know, and it's like really real. But for whatever reason, I continued to go back to church, and it was there that I joined the worship band, and then went from strength to strength in the church. And I remember the worship band prayed for me as I joined, because they asked me to give my testimony, and I basically said to them, I was like, along the lines of, like, I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly what I said, but along the lines of, like, I think you're all delusional. I don't feel anything when I pray to your God. I don't even think your God's real.
It's really honest, though.
And then I just said to them, I was like, I don't even know if I want to be alive. And then they said they prayed for me, and then what I realised is that what they prayed for me was like really selfless, and it was like really amazing, because instead of defending their God, they like just prayed for me instead. And it was like the first time I like kind of saw like what real love was like through other people, and so it was like quite amazing. And then after that point, I decided I wanted to find out the truth behind everything. I wanted to know if there was a God. And so I went on a journey where I looked into every religion, every option, and I started with the creation of the universe. And after looking at how our universe was created, and the scientific facts behind how we're even here, the science and proof behind it is so compelling to believe in an intelligent design that I couldn't deny its possibility. And so I was like, okay, well, you got me there. I'll admit that there is a God, but which one? I didn't know which one. And so I looked into all the different religions and stuff like that, and different options, and I just felt like none of them were sufficient enough to compel me to believe. And so I ended up going back to Christianity. It's like the last one I really wanted to look at, but I did, and I looked at it, and I thought, if Jesus Christ is real, if his life was real, then the whole of the Old Testament will come with that, because if his proof is undeniable, then so is the rest. And as I looked into the life of Jesus Christ, I couldn't deny that it was real and true. Even like past, what the Bible says, historical evidence that's provided behind the life of Jesus Christ was so compelling and so real that I couldn't deny it. And not all at once, and not even at one moment, but at the beginning of this year, I decided I wanted to be a follower of Jesus, and I wanted to. If this is the truth, then it holds every importance of the universe. And so I gave my life to Christ at the beginning of the year, and I got baptized on Monday, and it is Thursday. So I've been alive for like 4 days.
Wow! And can you say, like, you really love like worshipping, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So do you have like any plan? So God is already using Reuben already, and he really wants to use you in worship, doesn't he? So how are you kind of doing that already?
So I'm part of a musical project with my friend Joe called All Hours, and we're writing a worship EP, and we've got big plans for that and what we're going to do, and that's really exciting. And we're going to be organising our own music festival on the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
Which I think is a bit hush-hush at the moment, but there you go, it's exclusive. I probably shouldn't say that. But we are going to be doing our own...
Teaser trailer.
Yeah. We're going to be doing our own music videos as well, because I run the company here, so we can get that done, and the festival's coming as well. And I lead worship at True Vine Church, which we go to.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all kicking off. But my life's completely transformed since becoming a Christian, since dedicating that. And like inside out, I've completely changed as a person as well. I feel the
You
Holy
seem
Spirit
happy,
in my
don't
life. Yeah, I am happy.
I can see that because I knew Reuben. I knew him before, and like he was really successful, but he's just so happy now.
Yeah, much happier.
You just see the change in him, and
yeah, I feel.
And what? Yeah, go on.
Well, I feel Jesus in my life. I feel like he's not some bloke that lived 2,000 years ago. He's real. He's alive now, and the more I understand about the way he lived, the more I feel him present in my life, and his ways of living and his wisdom and his life is just something to look up to, and that's what I do. And since doing that, my life's completely changed for the better.
Thank you so much. So if there's people watching here today and they're like they don't know who Jesus is, they've got big questions, they don't even know if there's a God or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they feel like they've been touched by what you've said today. How would they get to know this God? What's the first step they could do?
If there is a truth, if truth exists, then you will find it if you ask enough questions. I think I went on a journey asking as many questions as I can, and I was presented with the evidence that Christianity had to offer. And if you see that for yourself as well, I think it's undeniable. And the only thing that's going to stop you wanting to believe in Jesus is yourself. I think one question to ask is, if Christianity were true, would you believe in it? And if your answer is no, then it's a self-defeating question, because you've already admitted to yourself that it's true in this scenario.
Yeah.
So if you want the truth, go and find it. It's out there, and
you found it.
And I found it. And you know what? It transformed my life. And even if we are all delusional, I'm leading a good life, and I'm much happier. That's the way I look at it.
And his story is evidence in itself. I mean, you know, it's not on like mine. Yeah, I'll cut that out. Reuben, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.
Subscribe. Remember to smash that like button, and yeah, we'll see you next week in another video. Peace.